How's it going, YouTube? I'm gonna do another video real quick. I just uploaded one, but then some stuff happened on Twitter, and I thought I should upload one right before I go to sleep or whatever. Some of you may be sleeping and not see this yet. That Parasite just announced on Twitter that he's looking for a season 2 team. Apparently he's been dropped. We'll have to wait and see official word on that, but I don't know why he'd be lying about that. Um, That's an interesting move. I had just said in my previous video that I didn't think he would go anywhere. He's been playing really well, but he's always had some attitude problems. I watched some of his streams recently, and he's been a player that I hadn't been able to watch his streams or like didn't really like listening to him. But lately, it seems like he's mellowed out a little bit, and he just wants to win. So it'll be interesting. Maybe a player like Imbos they the team go somewhere or something like that. He's playing UGC Niagara with Ricky Bose and Nameless, but Nameless is now apparently going to go. Well, the rumored Nation roster has been for a few days Nameless, um, Miracles, Karma, and Killa, and then tomorrow at the 2K that is their roster. So it'll be interesting. Um, if the rumors have officially came true, we'll see how they play at the 2K. Obviously, if they come out and just get shit on, then maybe they won't want to do that team. But I think the vibes of that team will be pretty good. Um, Nameless has teamed with a lot of them before, whatever, and we'll give them a little more slam power. And TP is playing with Envy, so that trade could definitely make sense. The Envy roster tomorrow is Proofy, Saints, um, Looney, and TP. There had also been a lot of rumors that Looney has been wanting to leave TK, so that would make sense, and that'd be a pretty sick roster, honestly. Get a lot of slaying power, and then TP could do the OBJ. Merc posted he was mad about something, getting screwed over or whatever. So who knows where he ends up if he's getting dropped or whatever. He can end up on some random roster they weren't expecting. A player like Merck with the kind of history that he's had and all that, I think he'll end up with a decently known team, but you just never know. All these moves could be happening real fast, and then after like X Games or whatever, and into Anaheim in season 3, there's gonna be a lot more moves. So the roster lock is not anytime soon either. So if these teams like form, go to UGC Niagara or UMG Cali, and they find out, this doesn't work, they could probably make moves before the season ends. X Games, I don't know when the roster lock is for that, but that's a big reason that a lot of these teams are making moves. They got the eye on the gold, and there's also 4 tournaments coming up. ESWC is only for 3 North American teams because TR, Denial, and Optic have been invited, but no other North American team was invited. So you know, those are the only teams that are looking at that, and I don't think any of those teams are making moves. I had thought that somebody would try to pick up a TR player, but they've got a lot of team chemistry. There's a lot of events um, besides this season and besides X Games, and now they get to go to ESWC, so that's even more incentive to stay with the roster. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, obviously, if like Optic is like Nagafin, come play for us, even though he's a sub, you leave to go to Optic, obviously, or if Envy or something says Aqua. You got to think about that, because some of these players that aren't as well known, even though he's winning 50K at COD Champs, you got to think about your career and your longevity, and that's the hard thing about being an owner for a team that isn't as well known. Is teams or as players, they want to think about their career, and so it's hard for you to be like, oh well, you stick with us, you're gonna go a long ways. You just don't know, with the more established teams like an Envy or an Optic, it's just more known. Um, so, I just wanted to throw that out there about the, update about the Parasite thing. That was, things just happening all the time. It's hard to keep track of everything that happens. Let me see. Oh, and then Parasite just said a few minutes ago that best part is I wasn't told, I had to find out through rumors. Um, so, people are going behind people's backs, kind of like what Merck had went out and said. You know, a lot of people trying to go behind people's backs. So it'll be interesting. If that is the MV roster, I like that roster a lot, honestly. I think Looney is a great player. It'll be interesting what would be the TK roster then, because would that mean Merck's going there? And then, I mean, Aches is potentially one that will go there. So I just want to make this a short video about Parasite. Maybe he goes to TK. I don't know. There's so many options. He's a great player. I like this because, I like Embos, and I would like to see them two end up together and they could do some things. Um, they're already playing UGC Niagara. It, the only problem is, like, you have to make trades in the leagues, and there's a lot of players that are already established with their rosters. Like the Justice um, owner said he wasn't going to get rid of any of his players, so it'll be interesting. Censor's still out there, Studies still out there, App Apathy still out there. I think, you know, unless that prophecy roster is sticking, and then I guess, but that hasn't been officially announced yet. I mean, it seems like that roster could end up staying together. They've done decently well in the league as that roster. I think they're like 3-1 or something. So, if that is sticking, I mean, it's not a bad roster. It's Mochilla, Apathy, Study, and Spacely. Mochilla, I feel like he just kills everything, and that gives lanes for players like Apathy to get up in people's faces. And when he's roaming around and doing his thing, that's when he's really good. And so that could work. Um, Players like Dito and Nesler are still out there, so a lot of good rosters could still be formed and can make big moves. Um, Prophecy was a thrown together team for champs, and it ended up they placed fourth. So pickup teams and thrown together teams can work. Parasite at the beginning of the year had to put a pickup team together, and it worked. So it'll be interesting. Do teams like Rise um, stick with the rosters they have, or do they, say, oh, we've got these big players out there, and so should I pick them up in hopes to make this a legitimately contending roster um, and further our brand, because there's a big difference between eighth and having a team that could potentially win a championship and make your roster even bigger. Because you look at like Denial, they won that one championship, and then from there they were able to, get players or whatever and establish a real roster in the COD scene. So, all right, yeah, that'll be it for this video. Give me your thoughts on Parasite, where you think he's gonna go, and if you think people are overlooking him because of his attitude and what he needs to change, and if he is like a top 10 player in this game. So, thanks.